please clarify this Jay Morrison situation. There's a lot of stuff circulating, and I want to hear from the horse's mouth, bro. First of all, what is your relationship to Jay Morrison?
Jay is a guy I met in 2016, 2017. He called me because he was building. I met him the same time I met Julian Gordon, and I know those guys both very, very well. And that was one of the reasons why it broke my heart to see those two kind of conflicting like that. But he came to me and told me about the Tulsa Fund, and I asked a lot of questions about the fund and everything else, and he answered the questions really well. I was really impressed with his intelligence. And since that time, we haven't been able to do a lot of business together. But when he built the Black House, I really love the Black House. I put an office in the Black House just because we didn't even use it, me and my wife, but we put it there just to support that black business. And also, I invested in the fund. So I saw that where Nipsey Hussle had made a comment on Instagram, how he was excited about the fund. He said, "Man, this is epic, bro. I'm gonna invest 10 grand." So I said, you know what? I'll put in 10,000 too. I'll put it right below Nipsey's comment. RIP to Nipsey. So Jay and I have been, we're friends, and I like him as a person.
All right. So, did you invest any more than 10,000, or was it just 10,000?
It was just 10,000.
10,000.
And what was weird was some people somehow came to a conclusion that I made money from the fund. I did not make any money from the fund. I have not been paid to endorse the fund. I've not got a nickel from the fund. I was an investor. I mean, and if the fund doesn't make money, then I will lose money as well. I think one thing, though, that I believe is that sometimes with business, it's a long game. So, it's hard to really tell where a business is going in the first 3 to 5 years. So there are some people who think that the fund is dead and is garbage, it should be killed. There are some people, like Jay, I talked to Jay and Julian, I talked to a lot of these people. Jay believes that if he gets funding and a little more time, he can make things work. And it's not my decision to make because I don't know his business. I don't run his business. I know as much about his business as I know about yours. But I heard both perspectives, and I can appreciate both perspectives.
All right. So there are accusations circulating in regards to depleted funds in the fund, right? Have you spoken to him about where the funds are?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the thing that concerned me about the fund when I finally saw the financials, because I support a lot of black businesses. There's hundreds where I've been like, yeah, support this brother, support this sister. It was like that. I wasn't a partner in the fund, so I didn't really keep up with the details. But when I did look at it finally, because somebody sent it to me and they're like, look at this. I was like, okay. I saw that there were about 2.7 million in expenses that didn't make sense to me per se. I asked Jay about it. One thing that he said was he talked about a lot of the legal fees he had to incur when the fund first got started, because instantly people were saying it was fraudulent from the moment that it was created. I thought that was unfair because I don't really think that some people didn't give the brother a chance. Some people were just like, it's fraudulent from the beginning. These are people that didn't invest, didn't support. They hate everything. They called everybody a scammer. I don't think those opinions matter as much. However, there was also a management fee for about $600,000 in there that also concerned me. And I was sort of like, look, man, if you're taking fees like this, there has to be some performance. There's only so much I would say. I'm going to be fair and honest no matter what. And he says that he needs more time and more money. But one of the areas where I kind of got off the bus, because both Jay and Julian reached out to me right when everything popped off. And I just said, well, okay, come on my platform and y'all debate it out. Just let people hear each of your perspectives because I think they both need to be heard. They didn't want to do that. So at that point, I said, well, you know what? Y'all do what y'all going to do. It makes me sad because I feel like there are better ways to kind of handle a dispute, right? I think it should be handled in court or maybe handled in private or whatever. But if it's public, then whatever. It's not my business. That's the key idea.
What was the purpose of the fund? That's what I think, because this is the thing. I just want to hear from you, bro. There's so many different videos with people talking. What is your understanding of the purpose of the fund?
My understanding of the purpose of the fund is that it was to buy real estate and generate income from the real estate and generate capital gains, things like that. I know that Jay, when I would ask him, what's going on? What do you guys have going on? They have a lot of plans. They have a lot of things that they're investing in. And also, I really like the Black House. I love the Black House. I think a lot of people should visit the Black House if they haven't done that. Now,
before we move on real quick, what is the purpose of the Black House? Is that supposed to be like commercial building or he rents it out?
Yeah, it's like an all-purpose place that's just beautiful, man. I mean, they have so much stuff up that's like showing respect to black people from the past, and it's a co-working type space. They shoot podcasts and films there. They have business meetings there. They do
So
events
they would
there.
generate funds from renting out different spaces in there.
Yeah. But the hard question, obviously, is are you generating enough income to grow the value of the fund? And I think that's a tough one that I think Jay is going to figure out. What I have said is, sort of in his defense, is to say that there have been other companies where the CEO basically says, this happens all the time, where there are people who say, you suck, this business is bad, you should shut the doors immediately, right? But then the CEO comes back and says, no, I just need more time and more money. It's always time and money. So effectively, that's what Jay is saying, from what I've gathered, is, if I get more funding and more time, I can turn this into something. I haven't seen anything that contrasts with that, right? Like, I've been in that office and I see the chalkboard full of all these ideas and things he's setting up. And, and so here's the thing, because Amazon, Jeff Bezos went through the same thing. Jeff Bezos was losing billions of dollars with Amazon, and people were like, bro, you need to shut your doors. Like, this is not going to work. But he was like, no, give me more funding, give me more time. I can turn this thing around. And so I'm not saying that one is true over the other, right? Like if they reach out, like when Jay gets his new funding from whoever he gets it from, it won't be from me, right? Because I've been like, I invested 10 grand. I'm not going to keep going. But I'm not a person that's going to go and deplete the confidence in a black business, because here's the thing. Confidence, you can't keep a company going without investor confidence. Somebody has to believe in it. Not everybody, but somebody does. And what I'm gathering, again, I haven't talked to Jay about this in a while, but I'm gathering that there are some people who have enough confidence to say, okay, let's keep going. Let's make this work.
All right, 2 questions, right, Dr. Watkins? 'Cause I have to ask this on behalf of the people.
Of
right?
course.
In regards to the other investments, has he showed you documentation showing that the money is invested in other properties outside of the black house?
No, because I didn't ask for all that.
But why didn't you ask for that?
Because I like taking chances on black people and supporting them without being up their ass. Like, I just don't do that. I don't.
So if you invested something in me, right?
Yeah.
You invested something with me, you gave me 50 grand. You wouldn't check up to say, hey, bro, can I just see any paperwork or anything of what you're doing, or you just take my word?
I would if it was a major investment for me. My
investment, because it's 10 grand, it's like whatever.
I'm not gonna say it's like whatever per se, but I'm gonna say that trust is important for me. Yeah. And I heard this black man's vision, and I trusted that he would be able to turn it into something. But remember, I invest in hundreds and hundreds of companies, right? Yeah. And my rule I made for myself is that I'm not going to scrutinize Jay more than I scrutinize McDonald's and Microsoft and all the other companies I invest in. The big mistake that I think that he has to fix, though, is I think he needs a board. And I did say that. I said, I think you need a board, and that would generate more trust. I don't know where they are in that process.
That's the last question I was going to get into. But before, did you think because you supported the project, you didn't think it was your responsibility to look in it on behalf of the people and let them know? Or is it because of the friendship?
No, because I do not give investing advice on my channel. Yeah. I do not. I specifically repeat this 10 billion times to people. Yeah. This is not investing advice. If you trust what I say and believe that my investments are good, and I've had some success with that, then I will tell you what I'm doing. But I do not give investing advice. I tell people, do your own due diligence. Do not just sort of assume that. Don't say I did it because Boyce told me to do it. No, I say, no, I'm supporting it. Like because here's the problem. I cannot go through and do an anal probe on every black business that comes through my space. There's hundreds of people that ask for my help. Julian Gordon asked for my help. When Julian Gordon started his business, I supported him as much as I supported more than I supported Jay Morrison. Not once have I gone over to Julian's business and been like, I need to see the numbers. What's going on? I just don't do that, because I don't think. I mean, if you think about, when I thought about the Tulsa Fund, he was already being scrutinized by the SEC. I mean, that's enough, man. That'll kill a business. People don't understand that SEC scrutiny almost killed Tesla. People don't know that. Tesla, Elon Musk said it. He said it. Go look it up. He said that my issues with the SEC was that they told me that if I did not sign this document, they would open an investigation in me. my covenant for my bonds, the debt I have, says that if they open an investigation on me and increase that scrutiny, then I'm going to lose all my funding. All my debt becomes payable immediately. He said at that point, Tesla would have had to declare bankruptcy, right? So people, I think, I'm not saying anybody should go jump in the Tulsa Fund. I've never told people, like, everybody go do that. No, I've said, this is what I'm doing because I want to give this thing a chance to succeed. It may fail. 86% of all black businesses fail. I invest in a lot of things that don't succeed. But here's the thing. I encourage people to just understand that just something like an SEC investigation will kill your company, right? And so I just kind of said, well, if the SEC's up his ass, he don't need me up there too. Like, let's see what the brother does. And I made the decision not to add more to my investment, but I don't regret trying.
Last question, do you feel that Jay Morrison is qualified to run a fund? In retrospect now, not initially.
I'm going to say that it looks to me like he probably made some mistakes. Is he qualified to run a fund? I will say that I get the impression he knows a lot about real estate. Would I invest in that fund? I probably would not.
So let's jump back
would I tell others not to invest? I wouldn't do that either. Because one of the things that I think is important to understand about business is most business owners, most millionaires and billionaires have had businesses that did not succeed.
Many times.
Right. And that you go look at some of these billionaires, the Donald Trump types, Donald Trump probably has hundreds of bankruptcies on his record. And I just kind of don't understand why we are so obsessed with a tiny black-owned business when there are so many other businesses right in our community sucking billions of dollars out of our community, and we give them no scrutiny. I'm not saying people shouldn't scrutinize Jay. I think, fine, if that's an issue for you, absolutely. But when you do 85 videos about the same guy because you're trying to make money for your YouTube channel, that comes off as a little bit obsessive, and it doesn't even give you space to correct the mistake, right? And that's the thing I wanted for the Tulsa Fund was I said, let's find the mistake and fix it, right? And that was something, that I didn't understand. I know Julian Gordon. I felt that was his first point of view was to say, let me come and help you. Let me figure out what's going on. And for whatever reason, that did not happen. And I think that's something that they have to deal with and address. But I look at this is those two men, like this idea.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not like too in that space, but I do see it, right? So how did your name get sucked in it so much? They tried
it was mainly one person.
They tried to make it like it's your fund or something.
Right. And that's how people just create narratives, right? And so effectively, there's a person I fired years ago who makes lots of videos about me, who started the narrative. And then it's like, well, Dr. Boyce and did this, and Jay and Dr. Boyce, right? So then other people kind of pick up on it. And again, I already know that doing what I do, I create enemies sometimes because of the way I speak, and I'm okay with that. So they ran with that narrative. And again, because the narrative is so inconsistent with the trust that I built with certain people, it draws a lot of views. Like, well, Dr. Boyce has been pretending to understand finance all these years, but really he's a scammer. Really he's stupid. Whatever. And you deal with it. It's life. It happens. And they have a right to speak. So it is what it is.